So I'm just getting out for a service call for this gas package unit. It's a thermal zone that's not working. It's a newer account. They have these 5 package units. They're all about the same time frame. They're all pretty old units. Just getting out here. So they kind of down below told me the general area that was cold. And then I just kind of was able to get a good lay of about where it should be up here on the roof. So I got up here on the roof, and it's kind of actually lined up with all 3 of these. When I got up here, this one actually in the middle here was the inducer motor was running, but it was blowing out cold air right here out the vent. So that kind of led me to this one. I pulled the panels off and just kind of started looking around. So this inducer motor right at the get-go, I could just hear a pretty loud rattle. Like it sounded pretty bad, and I have seen these little nuts get loose occasionally, so I kind of started with that and I tried tightening them all, but that basically didn't make any change whatsoever. Another thing I kind of noticed is this whole housing in general is starting to rust apart. You can see right here there's a kind of a hole, and with that being like that, it's going to make it a lot harder for it to close this pressure switch here and probably start giving me intermittent issues with the pressure switch. So that's another kind of just something I noticed right away. I ended up resetting it. It wasn't a lockout, and it was flashing a code, but I had no idea what the code was. Like all the paperwork on this thing is toast. The door, as you can see, everything is off of it now. You can see where it was. So I didn't really have anything tell me what it was. This board here I can tell was replaced. It's not the original. I've kind of poked around some of these other units, and I can just clear as day tell that this has been replaced at some point. So after kind of seeing those things, I reset the unit, jumped it out in a call for heat. It started going through. The igniter was lighting up and glowing, and then I could hear the gas valve clicking, and then just nothing was happening. So I kind of had it narrowed down, possibly bad gas valve, possibly plugged up burners. Sometimes these things will get rusted up on the ends and just need cleaned because the gas isn't traveling through like it's supposed to. So I basically busted out my manometer. I plugged in right here. You can take a little Allen and take this off and hook it up and kind of see what my incoming pressure was. Everything there looked good. When I'm doing that, I'll usually shut the gas off just so it's not dumping gas right here. So I shut it off, open it back up, had good incoming, and then the outgoing, every time it was clicking, which is basically getting voltage here and opening it up, it was letting out gas. So that kind of tells me that my gas valve was working like it's supposed to. Which is basically the next step is, I mean, you could have these little orifices here plugged. There's these little brass orifices that go in here. I inspected those. I didn't see anything. I pulled everything apart, got the burners. They all were pretty rusted up. I probably should have grabbed a picture or a video of what those looked like when I had them out. But it's a huge pain in the butt taking this thing apart. So with those burners, I cleaned them up with just a wire brush. Is usually what I've used to kind of clean them up, and it cleaned up a good chunk of it, but it definitely didn't clean up very well. Not like I'd like to see, but I got everything put back together, and I tried to fire it off a couple more times, and it still is not igniting. So I am going to write up for 3 new in-shop burners. I am pretty close to salt water, and I have noticed just on multiple units I've worked on in this city that's close to the salt water, like it definitely has a little bit more salt in the air, and I've noticed these things not last quite as long or have a little bit more corrosion issues, stuff like that. So with everything I'm seeing, I mean, I'm going to write them up for doing the in-shop burners, but honestly, like this metal housing here, I mean, that's probably going to be a custom manufacturer order. And really, once I start getting into all this corrosion and the way this inducer motor is sounding, like I said, I'm just getting out to the site, so I'm probably going to be a little bit more thorough just to get this thing up and going the right way. But another thing to kind of pay attention to is I know this thing's an old R22 system, and I mean, I'll just kind of talk to them and go over all the spiel of kind of how R22 is getting phased out and harder to get, all those kinds of things, and just kind of see what they really want to do. I mean, this is probably a high candidate for a replacement at this point, just with all the different things I'm seeing. But I mean, I'll leave the ball in their court and see what they want to do. If it's something, they apparently just bought this building, so I don't know if they're going to want to kind of get stuff up and start replacing maybe 1 or 2 a year, or what they're going to want to do if they just want to kind of limp them along a little bit longer. So I'll see what the building owner wants to do, go from there. I mean, I'll just kind of show them pictures and explain what I got going on, and see what they want to do. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.